What's up everybody, Alexandra here, and I'm super excited about today's video because this is a video I have always wanted to do, but for whatever reason I've just never been able to before. So this is going to be my palette ranking video. So all of the eyeshadow palettes that I got in 2021, I'm going to be ranking them from my least favorite to my most favorite. I am very excited. I think you guys are going to be surprised by where some of these hit in these rankings. So if you're ready, I'll show you guys the collection. This is what we are working with, 37 palettes. Let's get into it. All right, you guys, so if it's your first time here, my name is Alexandra, aka the Not So Evil Stepmother, and of course we would love it if you joined the family. If you would like to see more ranking videos like this one, you guys, definitely let me know in the comments below, because I'm thinking about doing like bronzer ranking, concealer ranking, foundations. I also am going to start doing some decluttering videos, you guys, because I have been decluttering my whole house top to bottom. Like, serious spring cleaning has been happening around here. So definitely stay tuned for that. Set your notification bell to notify all videos, because YouTube, you guys, they've been acting a little crazy here lately. I've had a lot of people complaining in the comments. So definitely just reset that, you know, even if you think you already have it set to notify all, just go ahead and reset it just in case. All right, let's get into this ranking video. I'm super excited to get started. So this is technically number 37, but we're not counting this in any ranking because I haven't really used it enough to rank it, but I wanted to share it with you guys because it was a palette that I did get in 2021, and I actually got this from one of my subscribers, Megan Bell. Oh my god, it was the sweetest card inside. And are you guys ready for this palette? Holy cow. Like, I haven't even had a chance to get into all of these colors. Cadence and I played around with some of the sparkle shades and some of the shimmers. So far, it is definitely, it's a pressed pigment palette for sure. But you guys know, I absolutely love Harley Quinn. If you guys remember, like when I very first started my channel, I actually sat in front of my Harley Quinn case. I'll show you guys a pic of it now. But yeah, so that is why she sent it to me. She is one of my old school subscribers, and I love her for this. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because it's just too pretty of a palette not to share. And I've been meaning to take some pictures for Instagram and stuff. So I just wanted to give a shout out and say thank you to Megan because I didn't get a chance to yet. All right, so let's get into the ranking. So the worst palette by far of 2021 was this one right here. And it's actually one of the last palettes that I received in 2021. So this is by Profusion Cosmetics, and this is their Holiday 2021 4-shade palette. And as you can see, it's got like this thing, which I keep, you know, peeling it off, but these shades, they're pretty, and it's something that I actually really wanted to like and use. But like this sparkle shade, like these are the kind of sparkles that get into your eye and get everywhere and won't come off of anything ever. So there's that. But then like the matte shadows were super, super patchy. This shimmer right here, I mean, it's a powdery shimmer. It's powdery. Like, this was just absolutely awful all the way around. So this is by far my worst palette for 2021. Now, not too far behind that Profusion palette is this one. So this is number 35 by Dominique Cosmetics. It's Never Apologize for Being a Powerful Woman palette. I absolutely love the idea behind this. I love the packaging. It's super cute. But again, these shades were super, super patchy, stay in the eye. And this right here, which, I mean, most eyeshadow palettes like this that aren't fully safe for the eye do have some staining, but this was really bad, like above the normal norm of staining, you know what I mean? And then this right here, this shade, this sparkle shade, I mean, like you can't even spread it out. It's just I hate glitter shades like these. I really do. Like, I wish companies would stop. I mean, I like glitter. You guys know. But glitter shades like these, they're just a disaster and eye irritant like no other. They're just, companies need to stop using them. 34, we have this one right here from Estate Cosmetics. I really wanted to like this palette. This palette is very pretty, but it's just the shades are just kind of weird. It's not the greatest formula. I mean, it's doable. You can make it work, you know, I mean, but it's not like these. These are just hideous. Like this one, we're now kind of getting into, you can make them work. But just the color story is really weird. And I wanted to like this, but yeah, I just wasn't a big fan of it. Next up, we have another indie brand palette. This is the Dido Venus palette, limited edition. I got this in a boxy charm. And I mean, it looks absolutely gorgeous. Again, another palette I really wanted to love. I really wanted to like this. My daughter absolutely loved the look of this, and it was really pretty, and we really tried playing around with this because they seem buttery and smooth when you touch them, but then when you start applying them to the eye, they're almost too buttery and too smooth, and they build up like in the corner of your eye as you're wearing it over, you know, an hour. Like very quickly they kind of start to build up in, you know, your creases, and it just, yeah, it wasn't that good. Even though it felt really good and it looked really good, it wasn't that good. This is another one that really pains me to have this low in this ranking. This is the Shadow Kiss by Alter Ego. This was sent to me free for review, just to let you guys know. I didn't review it because I really just didn't like this. Like, this was supposed to be a dupe for the Natasha Denona Glam palette, the cool toned. And I mean, it was close, but it's not as good, nearly as good as their previous palettes. I don't know if they changed their formula on this or what exactly is going on, but yeah, this is just not up to snuff with some of their other palettes. So that is why it is ranking where it is. Number 31. Oh, number 31. The stories that I have about this palette and Kylie Cosmetics and KKW Beauty. But we're not going to get into that because it was like a whole thing. I wanted this palette so bad. You guys know how much I love the Grinch. I love Christmas. I love greens. I waited for this palette. I ordered this. It was literally November, all right, of 2020 is when I ordered this. And I did not receive it until February of 2021. That is how long it took this palette to get here. And then when I finally got it, it's just so disappointing, you guys. This was just so bad. Kylie has such better quality and better palettes. And this was like Colourpop's bad formula, but like their old bad formula. You know what I'm saying? So, this one, this is the only color that I keep this palette for. That and the fact that it is, of course, the Grinch. But this green right here, I don't have a green like this anywhere else in my collection. It is just such a lime green topper shade, and it looks absolutely stunning on top of green eyeshadows. Any green eyeshadow, absolutely stunning. Inner corner, I love it. So if, as you can tell, when you look at this palette, which one I dig into the most is definitely this green shade right here. But aside from that, this palette was definitely not worth the wait, not worth the headache, not worth it at all. For number 30, we have this one right here, the collaboration with Morphe and Jacqueline Hill. And I love Jacqueline Hill's very first initial palette. I have not tried her. I didn't try the Volt collection. I wanted to, but I didn't, just because it kept getting a lot of bad reviews. And then the palette after that, the purples and pinks, I think there was something else I was wanting at that time. So I was really excited to see this because I have really been loving neutral palettes this year. You guys are going to see that as we're going through these, but this was just missing something. Like, I don't know, like these shimmer shades, I feel like, but aside from this one, the rest of these were too dark. Like, they really needed like some kind of champagne shimmer or something. You know what I mean? Just something more. This was just missing something for me. And that's why I just don't really grab this. I don't use it that often because when I do use it, I want to grab another palette because it's just missing something. Number 29 is the only palette that I do not own anymore because I already returned it back to the store because it was that expensive. It is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk palette. And if you guys remember, I purchased this right before my Gatlinburg trip at the beginning of 2021 because I wanted something small, compact, easy to travel with, just really super pretty, neutral pinks and, you know, browns and a celestial and just some one and done kind of shades or a couple and done shades. And that is not what I got from this palette. Like, it was really annoying actually how much work had to go into that palette for the price that it was. The celestial was just very, very lackluster. I got glitter all over my face. I have much better palettes for much cheaper. So yeah, I definitely returned that to Sephora. Number 28 is by Colourpop. This is their Cherish palette. I bought two of these palettes. This one I liked the least, but I liked it a little more than the Charlotte Tilbury, and this is a lot cheaper. You know what I'm saying? But this was one of the ones that did not have the glitter in the palette. It just all shimmers, and then they have like the matte with the shimmer. And I mean, you know, it's pretty. It gives you a little something, but it's, you know, nothing to write home about by any means. It's not Colourpop's good formula, so that's why it's ranking where it is. Next up, we have another Colourpop palette. This one, you guys are not going to be surprised to see where it's at. I mean, I talked about this in a favorites and fails for December. This just wasn't that good. I really wanted to love this palette. I love Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, as you guys already know. I love Christmas, but this palette just... First off, the really dark shades down here, like really gathered up in the corners of my eyes, in my creases, and they also really faded and ended up, like they weren't patchy when you put them on, they ended up becoming patchy as they wore throughout the day. So that was my biggest problem with this palette. That is why it ranks where it does. Next up, right behind that, we have this one by Hocus Pocus. Again, you guys know, love Halloween, love Hocus Pocus. I really do love these little collaboration palettes, but I wish they would keep the quality up high in them. You know what I mean? Because some of them are really good and some of them are not so good. I felt like this was a little better than the Rudolph quality-wise, but again, I just felt like it was just missing something. Like the color story just kind of jumps around. Like this was not my favorite. I liked last year's better. And it's surprising because I didn't like last year's at first that much at all until I got it. But I definitely like last year's better than this one. Number 25, we have the other Colourpop palette like this. So this is in Lyric. I don't like this sparkly, chunky shade here in the center at all, but the rest of this is good. I would have really liked to seen a lighter shade matte in here. You know what I mean? Just like, you know, they could have switched this out for a lighter matte and this would have been a really good palette, but that is what I think this is missing. And for that reason, that is why it is at number 25. I know, I can't believe it either, but here we are. So only halfway through at number 24, and there's a Jeffree Star palette. But you guys, look, I love the packaging, of course, it's Jeffree Star. That's not my issue. My issue with this palette is once you get it and you start applying it, like these shades look identical on the eye. Like you cannot tell them apart at all, like not whatsoever. And I feel like he just really missed the mark with this. I wanted to love this. I love pinks. You guys know I love these colors. I love them. But this palette just, it was depressing. It was depressing, you guys. I was like, this was one of the few palettes this year where I was like, man, I wish I wouldn't maybe have spent my money on that. All right, we have now hit a point where we are entering into palettes that I really like. And this is where things got a little bit harder when I was kind of ranking them. So for 20, 21, 22, and 23, we have the Animal Crossing Colourpop collaboration. I absolutely love these, you guys. I really did. Like, I do love Animal Crossing, but like, as you guys saw with the previous collaborative palettes, just because I love the collaboration doesn't mean that I love the palette or love the formula or the color story, but these little guys, they are just absolutely gorgeous. This right here was like a duochrome shade. Like, look at that. Oh my God. Colourpop did these so well. I love how cute and little they are. And I love this yellow shade too. This was such a fun shade to play with and not something that I have in my collection. So yeah, this was a really fun, just all around collaboration, fun palettes to play with. Love all of them. For number 19, we have the e.l.f. Mint Melt palette. I absolutely love this palette. I love the green shades in here. I get one of my favorite green eyeshadow looks using this palette, and it's so quick and so simple and so easy. Let me know if you guys would like to see this. Maybe I can do it like on IG or something, because it is such an easy green but beautiful green eyeshadow look. So love this. That is why it is where it is, but I can only really create 1 or 2 looks with this, so that is also why it's ranking where it is, but I do love it. Number 18, I have another Dominique Cosmetics palette. This is the Transition palette, and I absolutely love this palette, you guys. The only reason it's ranking where it is because it is all matte. But if you compare this to like the Jacqueline Hill Divine Neutrals, like this has everything that was missing. Like these right here, these like mid-tone neutral brown shades. I love this pinky shade right here. Absolutely gorgeous. I love the blacks, the grays. Like, and the other thing that I love about this is you can use it for so much more than just eyeshadow. You can use this as a blush palette, as bronzer, as contour, for your eyebrows. I mean, she really outdid herself and put some thought into this. So I really do enjoy it. Number 17, we have the Natasha Denona Mini Love palette. I am getting ready to pick up the new Crush or Mini Crush palette, so stay tuned for that review. But I like this palette. It's really good. I mean, it's Natasha Denona. You know, what more can I say? The only reason it's really ranking where it is just because of the tones for it. It looks really pretty on some people, and it does look really pretty on me, but the tones are just not quite perfect for my skin tone. So I can get pretty looks with it and all of that, but you know, it's just not my favorite Natasha Denona palette. You know what I'm saying? For 15 and 16, I have 2 more Colourpop palettes, and I absolutely love these, you guys. If you spend your money on any Colourpop palettes, definitely check these little 4 pans out, but get the ones that have like the shimmers and the mattes, you know what I'm saying? You know, none of these have like the big chunky sparkle shades, so don't worry about that. But these mattes are so good. These shimmers are so good. Like this was what I was talking about with the Natasha Denona palette, like how this is more like my type of tones that looks good on my skin tone. And even though these are all kind of like in the same family, this looks a little more punched in the eye or bruised. Like I have to be careful with this. With this, I can build up really nicely and get a very pretty, rich, smoky look. And it's got those pink undertones, and I really just love it. And then the creamsicle is a lot more of like a warmer pinky shade. But again, I really do love it. It's so pretty. So I definitely really used the heck out of these in 2021. So that is why they are at. And the next one is also a Colourpop palette, and probably my favorite Colourpop palette of the year. It is the Child palette. I got this at the beginning of the year last year, and you guys, again, with the greens. I love the greens. Absolutely love them. You guys already know if you've been here. But yes, I love the formula in this. So these are Colourpop's good formula. You know what I mean? So definitely, if you get anything from them, stick to these kind of things. Stay away from the other stuff. These are like the good collaborative, you know, formula. And then the other ones are like the not so good. Last 13, you guys. So at number 13, we have the Nabla Cutie Analog palette. And you guys, these colors, they are just rich and creamy. And this formula, if you have not tried Nabla Cosmetics yet, grab one of these cutie palettes. during a sale. Like, this is what I wanted that Dido or Ditto palette to be. Like, when I saw that formula, I was like, could it be another Nabla? No, it is not. This is just lusciousness all on its own. You know what I'm saying? Check Nabla out, definitely. All right, we're getting down, you guys. Number 12 is the Natasha Denona Glam Face Palette. And I know you guys are like, what? Number 12? You like? Yes. There are 11 more that I like more than this one, even though I really do enjoy it. The formula is Natasha Denona. It is so good, but the reason it is ranking where it is because I just looked at the eyeshadows. I didn't, you know, count the face side of it because this is just an eyeshadow ranking video. So with that said, this is number 12. Number 11. I know you guys, you're like, what? Yes, I really did love this palette, though. This was one of my more favorite Jeffree Star palettes. The green one is still my all-time favorite. That one will be hard to be topped. But this one, I really do enjoy. Oranges look so good on me. They just really do. And I love this palette. It is absolutely gorgeous. But there was one Jeffree Star palette that I liked more than this one, and it was this one right here. I really like this palette. I know some people didn't like it, but I did. I got the prettiest green and gold, like in dark brown, like look. It was so pretty. It was like something straight out of like Cleopatra. Like that is what it reminded me of. I absolutely loved playing with this palette this summer. So I was very happy with this. I liked it a little more than I liked Prick, but I liked them both very, very much. And then next up, number 9. We have this one right here. I have to say, you guys, if we did a beauty battle between the Pricked palette and the Lunar Beauty Moonspell 2, the Moonspell 2 would win. I'm just saying. Or the Moonspell 2 and his pink palette, the one that I did not like, the Moonspell would win. Because, I mean, Manny just hit it out of the park, you guys. This is so good. If you like pinks and purples and you like pigments and shimmer and you just want it all, baby, this is where it's at for sure. I loved playing in this palette. This color right here, Luna, which I love Luna. I love her on Harry Potter, but this color, I'm running out of space, you guys. Oh, it is just absolutely out of this world. Can you guys even see that? Oh God. Yes, it is just gorgeous. I love this palette so very much. This was definitely one of my top buys for 2021. All right, you guys, now we have entered into the palettes where I had a very, very hard time. So this next one is number 8, and this palette did not come out in 2021, but one of my subscribers sent it to me, and this was a palette, if you guys saw my FOMO video, one that I was wanting so badly because of the blues and the greens, and I had really, really been wanting to try a Milk Cosmetics palette, and this thing did not disappoint. It did not disappoint. I love this palette so, so much, but with that said, I am so scared to use it because I'm so scared to drop it or do something. I mean, I have used it for sure. I love it so much. It is so gorgeous, but they just need to bring this sucker back. They need to bring the whole collection back. Like, they brought one half the Vita side, but not the Muerte, and I don't know why. Like, why? Why? It doesn't make sense. But either way, this is just an absolutely gorgeous palette. Number 7 is going to be very surprising for you guys. I know, but look, I'm sorry. I used to love Urban Decay shadows, and they have been so disappointing. Like the Naked Honey palette, the Naked Violet, I was not big fans of those. I will have to say I was not. And so I was very hesitant to get this one or not. But I really do love it. I love the mix of the cool tones with the warm tones. I love the blue and the green, the couple pops in here. I loved the very rustic eyeshadow grungy looks that I got from this. I really like using this, and I constantly keep grabbing for this palette. So that is kind of how I figured the rankings here from this point forward, is how often did I really grab the palette? You know what I mean? And this was another one. I really enjoyed this one. I know this was very high up on a lot of people's ranking list, and for good reason. reason, because it's Natasha Denona. It is the retro palette. It is absolutely gorgeous. I did a comparing video with this. I've done so many very, very pretty pink and purple and cranberry looks. I love this formula that she has, this cream to powder formula. It is, like, some people don't like it, and I don't see why. I don't see why, because it is so easy to blend, and it looks so good for those of us who have more wrinkles and creasing on our eyes. It's just an absolutely gorgeous palette, and it's very sophisticated but still glam. I just love everything about this. So this was definitely had to be high up at number 6. But you want to know what palette beat out the retro by the hair of their chinny chin chin? This one right here. This is the Mini Biba palette, also by Natasha Denona. And I know you guys are looking at me like, what? That's a 5 pan? That's a 15 pan? I know, but it's all about the formula and the tones in this. Like, honestly, her making this one right here a cream to powder, I mean, stop. Just stop. It is the most gorgeous, like, pink undertone, deepening brown shade that you could ever want for someone with my skin tone. You know what I mean? Where I have those red undertones, finding this kind of palette that has these type of neutral shades, but with these like pinky, peachy undertones that really complement my skin tone, it's hard to come by, you guys. It's hard to come by. And it's right here in this palette, which is why I love it so much, and I use it as much as I do. Now, this next palette, I cannot talk a lot about because it's going to make me cry, and I don't want to cry, but this actually came out in 2020, but I was not able to get my hands on it during the first launch. So when it restocked at the beginning of 2021, I purchased this right here, which is the Tiny Marvels by Mel Thompson. And if you guys don't know, Mel Thompson was a creator here on YouTube that passed away just a few months after I picked this palette up. It's so insane to think about it. But yeah, she just passed away at the end of 2021. And this palette is just, it's gorgeous. It's by Sidney Grace. And first off, the artwork on it, Mel did herself. Well, she did with her tattoo artist. I mean, but it's all her. She loves tiny creatures. She loves bugs. I'll have to put the video down below in the description box. But then the formula of this palette, you guys, is stupid good. It is insanely good. I want to get some more Sidney Grace palettes because of this one. This right here. Like, I only got this palette because of Mel, because I wanted to support her channel. But then when I tried this formula, I was like, all right, we're done here. Sidney Grace is now on my radar. All right, we are at our last 3, you guys. Wayne Goss. This is the Luxury Eye Palette in Pearl. And I mean, look, first off, if you do wedding makeup, if you are a makeup artist that does wedding makeup, just get this palette. Just get this palette, because these are your wedding colors right here. Every bridal makeup you will ever do is right here in this palette. For sure. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is what this palette is. And that is exactly what inspired Wayne to make these colors and to make this palette. This celestial shade right here. This is what I was expecting to get out of the Charlotte Tilbury, but I just could not get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, she just was not giving it, but Wayne brought it hard, and I wore the hell out of this palette this whole entire year. I mean, you guys can see it has been well loved, well dug into, and I use every single one of these shades. Some of them just a couple of shades for one look. I mean, I grab this palette all the time. It is in my makeup bag at all times, along with number 2 and number 1. And number 2 is what I have on my eyes today. This is the Huda Beauty Rose Quartz palette, and you guys are probably not surprised to see this here. I mean, let's be real here. Her palette last year, the Naughty Nudes palette, was my all-time favorite palette of 2020. So the fact that this is at number 2, that should tell you. Huda Beauty's 18 pan eyeshadow palettes are phenomenal. The quality on these are just, they're unmatched. They're unmatched. Nothing touches this formula. I absolutely love it. I've seen so many other people's ranking videos, and this definitely ranked high in almost every single person's video, and for good reason, because it's just an amazing formula. If you can get this palette on sale, snatch it. Snatch it up like it's somebody's weed. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. Like, I'm not joking, you guys. Snatch it. All right, drum roll, please. Da, 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 da. The number one palette is the Patrick Ta Major Dimension Eyeshadow Palette. I always say, I've said so many palette names now, I like started to say Define Neutrals. No, this is not the Define Neutrals. This is the Major Dimension. And baby, this is bringing, try that again, all kinds of dimension. I love this palette. This is by far, like, the only reason this is ranking over top of this, just so we're clear here, is because I used this palette all year long. Like, this launched at the beginning of the year, or what? Well, I guess like towards spring, the beginning of summer, but I used it all summer long, all fall, all Christmas, all through the New Year's. Like, I reached for this palette time and time and time again. I just used it earlier today. I mean, I love, you guys, these cream shadows. Like, look, I don't have any room left. Let's go down a little bit here. Okay, so listen, these cream shadows right here. If you have wrinkly eyes, if you have eyes where like the skin is kind of like bunched up a little more, if you have hooded eyes, I'm just telling you, you need a formula like this to have as a base to keep that pigment on there of whatever else you're applying on top. And it will stay all day. It will not move, because that's probably one of my biggest complaints as I'm getting older with eyeshadows, is they sometimes move on me. You know, where I have such folds, you know, and my eyes are a little more deep set back, and I do have a hooded eye on one side, it's kind of hard sometimes. Like, as you heard with some of these palettes, like, they became patchy as I wore them throughout the day, or they bunched up or gunked up in the corner of my eye. And it's just something that I've just recently started experiencing in the last year or two. And it's really about cheaper formulas and these more high-end formulas like this. And then when I use a cream shadow and then a powder shadow on top, it is phenomenal. It just does wonders. Like, nothing else will ever probably compare to this palette, unless he makes another palette. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. It is so good. And you all know how much I love some of these other formulas, but yeah, these are like my top drawers right now, top favorite palettes, and for good reason. All right, you guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I am so excited to be doing, we're going to be doing some decluttering videos. I got highlighters, bronzers, blushes, palettes, a buttload of palettes. I mean, let's see, I just purchased 37 or almost 37 last year in 2021. So yeah, I got a problem. We need to declutter some of it. So definitely make sure you hit that notification bell. If you haven't subscribed, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Let me know, what is your number one palette of the 2021? I'm very curious to hear your answer. And until next time, see ya.